To be honest, I'm just kind of winging it today, and I was having a bunch of technical problems right before I got on here, so I'm not 100% sure on what I'm going to talk about today. I have a few little bullet points here, and I'm just going to fucking pick one right now. So let's talk about this concept that you see what you focus on. There's a thing in your brain called the reticular activating system. I think I have it right, that this thing kind of causes you to, let me just go back. So the idea is, like, say, for example, you're going to buy a red fucking Mustang, and you're like, really want a red Mustang. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to buy one of those. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you're seeing those things everywhere. You're seeing red Mustangs all over the place. Like, my girlfriend had this happen. She was telling me, she hadn't even heard of I have a 96 Chevy Impala that I bought in 1997, and I still drive it around. I still like that car. It's kind of got some issues right now, so it's parked for the time being, but she had never seen one of these. But she just never noticed it. And then when she saw mine, and, we kind of joke about it because she's nervous about me driving around in this old ass car that could die at any minute. Now she sees them. She sees them out on the street. Obviously, there's not a ton of those out there, but she sees them. So what I wanted to talk about is this counts for all kinds of different things. So if you start focusing on negative shit, your reticular activating system is going to find more negative shit for you. It's kind of, it thinks that's my understanding. I might have this totally wrong, but my understanding is that that's what it thinks it's supposed to do. And it's, I heard somebody explain it like you could be in a fucking amusement park or something and your kid's lost, and there's like thousands and thousands of voices all around you, people yelling and all this kind of shit. But if your kid yells off in the distance, your brain is going to single out that sound because that's what you're focusing on. That's what you're looking for. So I'll give you an example. So last year I was struggling, like, mentally. I was trying to scale my business and all this stuff. But I was allowing myself to focus on all this negative shit, and I was listening to certain people that were pushing a lot of negative stuff, and maybe they were well-meaning, but at the same time, when I would walk away from listening to that content, I would feel hopeless because I would be like, well, there's nothing I can do. Everything's going to go to shit, because I was just seeing all these signs of negative things and different things happening in the world, and it was making me feel hopeless. So I spent like a lot of the year really working hard and trying to scale my business. And we grew. I mean, we definitely grew, but we didn't grow as much as I think we could have had I chose to focus on more positive things and kind of tune out some of the negative stuff. Because the more I focused on negative things, the more I was shown negative things. And so, the algorithms on social media, they kind of work either for you or against you in that regard. So like a platform like TikTok, for example, if you're scrolling through that shit, it'll see you slow down on certain content, even if you don't even if you don't like it or comment or engage with it. The fact that you slowed down and watched it for longer, that's enough for it to start saying, okay, this person wants to see more of this shit. And very quickly, it's going to start showing you that stuff again. And so as I was thinking about that, I was thinking, your brain's kind of working the same way. So you're out and about and you're allowing this negative stuff to come into your mind. And so your brain is kind of like, okay, well, let's find more of that shit. This is what he wants to listen to, or this is what he wants to pay attention to. So I feel like that was happening. And it was a cycle that kind of built up over the course of the year. And then what ended up happening also is, because I'm aware of this, and I also believe in this whole idea that your thoughts can, your visualizations and your thoughts and stuff can contribute to manifesting, what you're focusing on. And I don't know how that works. There's a lot of different ways of looking at it. Some people say there's some kind of quantum shit in the universe that's why that works, or you could think of it like your subconscious mind being so powerful that if you're focusing on these kind of things, and I'm thinking like, I'm going to work really hard, but I don't really believe that I'm going to achieve the things I want to achieve simply because of outside circumstances that are not within my control. I could be programming my subconscious mind to believe that. And if you were to go the other end and you're programming your subconscious mind to believe that you're going to succeed and you're going to accomplish all these goals, I believe that your subconscious mind is working for you in the background. So even when you're out doing something else and you're consciously focusing on whatever it is you're doing, that shit's running in the background. And your subconscious mind is working in the background because it's controlling all of your body functions and all this shit. So why wouldn't it be sort of like putting pieces together for you? And you've seen this happen, I'm sure, where maybe you're trying to solve a certain problem and you're having a hard time solving it when you're consciously thinking about it. But then all of a sudden you're like in the shower or you're driving or something and you're kind of just allowing whatever thoughts to come in. And then all of a sudden the solution pops up. So couldn't that be that your subconscious mind has been working on that problem this whole time while you were off doing whatever the fuck you're doing and it's fixing that. So back to the reason I even went down that path was I'm conscious of these things. And so the fact that I was having trouble taking my mind away from negative thoughts, I was also aware that maybe I was manifesting more of that shit in whatever way you believe that happens. Or I don't know, maybe you don't believe it at all, but I do believe that it happens. And that I also understand that the more you focus on something, the more you kind of steer towards it. I've heard a lot of people say this, and I don't know if it's true. I'm assuming it is, but they say, when a race car driver is sliding out of control towards the wall, they say to not look at the wall, because if you look at the wall, you're going to keep going towards it. And they say to look at the road to correct it. So you don't want to look at this thing you're trying to avoid, because if you're focused on the wall, they say you're going to hit that wall. I don't know if that's true. It sounds fucking true to me, but I've never drove a race car before, so I have no idea. But it makes sense. You focus on something, you're going to start heading towards that thing you're focusing on. So all of these things combined, me believing that maybe I was manifesting more negativity by focusing on it, me also believing that the more you focus on certain things, the more you sort of head in that direction. So if I'm focusing on negativity, I'm heading in a negative path. It was really stressing me out. And then I did some things in my business to kind of consolidate everything into one place and try to eliminate a lot of different areas of focus. So my focus is here, my focus is there. I got teams in 2 different places. I moved everything together. And so I'm like, okay, I can keep an eye on all this shit. It's right here, right in front of me. I feel like that might have freed up a couple things. And then, but I think that was one thing, but I somehow, well, not somehow, in retrospect, I see what I did. I actively stopped really paying attention to a lot of things that were going on around me. And, some may say like, well, you're uninformed and that's not good, but, they may be right. The thing is the more informed, or I'll put that in quotes because so much out there is bullshit and there's so much that, even if you seek all the information, like how do you know what information is true and how do you find the right information? It's quite a task. So anyway, what the fuck was I talking about? I'll get back on here. So the regardless, maybe I'm uninformed. I don't really give a shit right this minute, but the more I was paying attention to things going on and the more I was kind of like looking at shit and my mind was looking at negative things that were happening, what that was causing was, actually, I already talked about what it was. Man, maybe I should have wrote some bullet points. What I did was I cut a lot of things out. I spent less time looking at shit. I tried to go on social media just to make my posts, tried to hit back a couple people on comments, reply to some messages. Then I got out of there and I was trying not to look at shit, especially on TikTok, because like that algorithm is crazy. I don't know if any of you, I'm sure some of you do, but we have a pretty big following on TikTok. So I have to go on there sometimes just kind of see what's going on. And then, as soon as you open the app, you're you're already seeing content. So I would scroll through some shit, and that algorithm on there is so powerful. Like if I slowed down maybe on some kind of like political thing or some shit that's going on, and I'll watch it, you know, it's almost like all you got to do is do that one time, and then the next set of videos is that same shit. So it was like feeding all that stuff. So I took I distanced myself from looking at content and just really tried to focus on the controllables, which was my actions. That's pretty much all I have control over. I don't have control over any outcomes, really, even in my own life. Like I can take these actions in the direction that I want to go, but I have no control over whether that shit's going to work or not. You have far less control over outcomes than we might think. So I was focusing on what are the daily actions I got to do. And this is something I've been doing. And I did that all last year, but it wasn't enough. You know, I had to take a lot of steps to really start focusing on the positive. But the good thing is, as soon as I did that, you know, my mood lightened. I'm really stressed out about, you know, trying to do all this shit. And there's a lot of things going on, but in my business, but at the same time, consciously trying to like stop looking at that negative shit and stop allowing my brain to find more of it, you know, by limiting the amount of things that I look at. If I'm not looking for shit, it's not going to be able to find anything. So I kind of feel like I'm rambling. I need to button this fucking thing up. So I guess at the end of the day, making the conscious choice to start focusing on positive stuff over time, this reticular activating system is going to start looking for more of that positive shit. And I believe that's what happened. So I'm feeling a lot better over the last, 2-3 months. And so I'm going to continue on that path and just be conscious of that. Because I know if I start focusing on negative shit, then, you know, you're going to see more of it. So I don't know. Hopefully that helps. Give it a try. If you have any questions, always feel free to hit me up at Bus166 on Instagram, and sign up for our newsletter, man. It's one of my favorite things to do right now. So if you are interested in that, I think there's links on it, graffitimachine.com. It's probably on my fucking link tree. I don't know. I'm out. All right.
Appreciate each and every one of you guys who are supporting the cause and continue to spread the love. And yeah, stay up.